Have you ever had one of those days? You know, the ones you've powered through meetings, maybe shuttled kids around, perhaps even squeezed in a workout, and now you're finally home?
Oh, I know that feeling.
You glance at the clock, your stomach rumbles, and the fridge. Well, let's just say it looks less like a culinary canvas and more like a barren wasteland.
Happens to the best of us.
And you desperately want something healthy, right? Something
Yeah.
homemade, definitely not takeout again. But the sheer mental load, just thinking about planning a meal, then braving the grocery store, and then actually cooking, it honestly feels less like a task and more like planning an expedition to Everest.
It really is the quintessential modern dilemma, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our best intentions for, nutritious, delicious food often just they crumble under the weight of these unrelenting busy schedules and that sort of pervasive mental fatigue. We all crave that wholesome meal, but yeah, the path to getting it on the table can feel incredibly daunting sometimes.
Exactly. And that's precisely why today we're diving deep into a solution that has, well, completely revolutionized how millions of people approach home cooking. The fascinating and rapidly evolving world of meal kit
It's
services.
a huge market now.
It really is. And for this deep dive, we've pulled together a pretty comprehensive stack of sources, articles, research, some internal notes actually to extract the most important insights, maybe some surprising facts, and definitely the strategic implications. Our mission really is to give you a comprehensive shortcut to being genuinely well informed on this booming industry.
That's the goal.
And specifically, we're going to zero in on Menucraft, or MC, as we'll probably refer to them, a significant player based in the bustling country of Ireland, and really explore how they navigate this incredibly dynamic market. So let's unpack this.
Sounds good. And what's truly fascinating here, I think, is how meal kits have fundamentally redefined convenience in the kitchen. They've really carved out a unique niche in the food industry. Well, at its core, a meal kit service is all about delivering this potent blend of convenience and, crucially, time saving for busy individuals and families. It just makes it far simpler to prepare healthy, nutritious homemade meals. You can almost think of it as your personal kitchen concierge, right?
Yeah, I like that.
It's a direct-to-home delivery model where you receive all the pre-proportioned ingredients you need, meticulously measured out, alongside clear, step-by-step recipe instructions. So no more of those last-minute dashes to the store for, that one missing herb or a tiny splash of some exotic sauce you'll never use again.
It's a genius concept when you break it down, isn't it? It just strips away all those little friction points that stop you from cooking.
Exactly.
And the business model underpinning most of these services is generally on a subscription basis,
That's
right?
the standard, yeah.
So you just hop onto their usually quite slick website or their intuitive mobile app, scroll through a wide array of options that probably make your mouth water.
They always look good online.
They do. And then you simply select the meals that pique your interest for the week ahead. It's brilliant because it completely removes that daily guesswork of what's for dinner. And maybe even more importantly, the stress of, oh no, do I have all the ingredients I need right now? It's just a complete mental load off.
That mental load reduction is a huge, huge selling point. And when you actually unpack one of those meal kit boxes, you really start to appreciate the thoughtfulness behind each component, the sort of engineering that goes into ensuring freshness and usability.
Right, like the chilled stuff.
Exactly. Take the chilled produce, for
Yeah.
instance, meats, dairy, fish. These aren't just tossed in loosely. They're carefully nested within a dedicated chill box. And that box contains a freezable ice pack.
Ah,
So this ensures everything remains of a safe, fresh temperature throughout that whole delivery journey, arriving in pretty much pristine condition right at your doorstep.
and then cleverly separated from that, you've got your long life produce. So we're talking things like tinned goods, rice, pasta, and those essential dried herbs and spices.
The pantry staples?
Exactly. But what's smart about this isn't just that they're long lasting, it's that they're specifically chosen and often pre-mixed, or at least pre-portioned, precisely for the recipe you selected. That small detail alone is a massive time saver.
Definitely. No more digging around.
No more rummaging through your spice rack trying to find that one elusive ingredient or, trying to measure out half a teaspoon of something obscure you bought ages ago. And naturally, you'll find the fresh and short-lived produce, vibrant fruits, crisp vegetables, maybe even fresh bread if the recipe calls for it all ready to be chopped, sliced, and cooked.
But arguably, I think from the user's perspective, the most pivotal element in that entire box is probably the recipe card itself.
The instructions, yeah.
Right. And this isn't just a basic list of instructions. It's usually a really comprehensive guide.
Mhm.
It offers both meticulously written directions and often clear step-by-step pictorial instructions too.
Pictures always help.
They really do. It essentially acts as your personal culinary guide, walking you through every single stage of preparation using all those perfectly pre-measured ingredients. And this level of detail, it just profoundly simplifies the entire cooking process, making even quite complex-sounding dishes feel approachable, even for, say, a novice cook.
Okay, now let's zoom out a bit from the box itself and really try to grasp the sheer scale of this industry. The global meal kit market isn't just big, it's absolutely
It's
massive.
grown incredibly quickly.
Right. By the end of 20X4, this industry was valued at over $25 billion. That's already a colossal figure for what's still a relatively young sector.
It really is.
But the predictions are even more ambitious. Forecasts are suggesting it could surge to a staggering over $75 billion within the next decade. So this isn't just some fleeting trend. It's clearly a booming sector experiencing almost exponential growth, and it seems underpinned by some fundamental shifts in consumer behavior.
It truly is.
Yeah.
And, to understand the genesis of this boom, it's maybe worth looking at the historical context for a second. The pioneering role in this industry really belongs squarely to a company called Freshii,
Yes, the big one.
the big one. They first set up shop about 17 years ago in the neighboring country of Gamma. And their initial success wasn't just a win for them, it was a real game changer. It basically provided the blueprint for this entirely new business model.
So they paved the way.
They really did. Within just 3 years of Freshii's establishment, their effective model spurred this incredibly rapid global expansion of meal kit businesses. Many of these, including Freshii itself, quickly grew from what were local startups into quite sophisticated multi-continental operations. It just demonstrated the scalability and, I suppose, the universal appeal of the concept.
So why exactly did meal kits explode in popularity like that? What made them resonate so deeply with consumers all over the world?
Well, I think it really boils down to a few critical factors.
Yeah.
First and foremost, it's got to be about convenience and, importantly, competitive pricing. Meal kits offer a genuinely reasonably priced alternative to traditional grocery shopping. But maybe beyond just the cost, they save customers an absolutely invaluable amount of time and effort.
Time is the new currency, isn't it?
It really feels like it sometimes. Imagine skipping the crowded aisles, bypassing those frustrating checkout lines, and completely eliminating that decision fatigue that comes from just staring at an overwhelming array of ingredients. It just streamlines the entire process from the initial thought to getting the food on the plate.
And this leads us to another crucial benefit, one that maybe gets overlooked sometimes: food waste reduction.
Ah, yeah, that's a big one.
It really is, and it's a significant aspect of their sort of sustainability appeal. Think about a traditional grocery run. You might buy a large bunch of herbs or a big bag of something when your recipe only calls for a tiny amount, right?
Always happens with parsley.
Always. And inevitably, it leads to unused portions just languishing in the fridge and eventually getting thrown away. Meal kit providers, however, they meticulously pre-measure all ingredients, sometimes down to the gram, ensuring you receive precisely what's needed for that recipe.
So nothing left over.
Exactly. This radically minimizes customer food waste. It directly addresses a really common household problem and, frankly, makes meal kits a far more sustainable choice for many environmentally conscious consumers who hate throwing food out.
Okay, let's bring that global perspective home now, as you said, specifically to Ayeland, which is MC's home turf.
Right, menu craft's territory.
Exactly. So Ayeland is a country with a population of nearly 40 million people, and it boasts a pretty robust and well-developed economy. What's particularly relevant to our discussion, I think, is that a significant majority, we're talking nearly 75% of its population, resides and works in urban areas.
Okay, so mostly city dwellers.
Mostly city dwellers. And this demographic reality, with its inherent time pressures and, busy lifestyles, it sets the perfect stage for the kind of convenience and efficiency that meal kits offer. And Menucraft, MC, has a unique place in this market, having been the very first meal kit business established in Ayeland. They were founded 15 years ago. They were truly the pioneers there.
And the local drivers of popularity in Ayeland, do they just echo the global trends, or is there something specific?
They really echo and, I'd say, amplify those global trends we just discussed. The pervasive busy work and family lives of Ayelanders, coupled with a growing desire for quick, easy-to-prepare, home-cooked, nutritious meals, as opposed to relying heavily on maybe less healthy takeaways or highly processed convenience foods. That combination has genuinely fueled meal kit adoption right across the nation.
And who are they most popular with?
Well, they've proven particularly popular among young professionals who often have demanding careers and, frankly, limited time, and also among families who are juggling multiple schedules and for whom mealtime solutions are pretty much a daily necessity.
Okay, so diving into the competitive arena in Ireland then, it sounds like it's quite a dynamic and probably increasingly crowded landscape.
Yes. Currently, there are four main businesses that are really dominating the market. You've got Freshie, which, as we noted, is that global powerhouse brand with substantial international backing. They provide a pretty formidable presence.
Hard to compete with.
Very. Then there are the three key local operators. Craft, of course, Food Dropper, and another one called iMeals. Each of these is vying for a piece of the island consumer's wallet.
And it's not just those four big players, is it? I imagine there are smaller ones too.
Oh, absolutely. The market also sees a pretty healthy ecosystem of smaller, more niche competitors.
Yeah.
These might be regional businesses focusing on specific cities or districts, or perhaps those offering highly bespoke services like meal kits catering exclusively to, say, fully vegan diets, or perhaps specific allergy-friendly ranges.
So specialization is happening.
Exactly. This segmentation, it speaks volumes about the market's maturity and its ability to cater to increasingly specialized dietary requirements and preferences. It's definitely a sign of a robust and evolving industry.
Now, despite Freshie's undeniable international brand power and presumably massive resources, MC has managed to carve out and maintain a remarkably strong competitive position. That's quite impressive.
It really is. They've very successfully established themselves as a highly respected local brand throughout Ireland, and they seem to leverage that deep connection to local culture and produce very effectively.
Do we have numbers on that, like market share?
We do. To give you a clear snapshot of the market dynamics, let's look at the market share figures for 20X4. Freshies, the global giant, led the pack with 35%. But Craft was a very solid second, holding an impressive 24% of the market.
Wow, nearly a quarter. That's significant.
It is. Then Food Dropper held 17%, iMeals had 13%, and that other category, which encompasses all those smaller niche players, accounted for the remaining 11%. So Emsley isn't just present, it's a significant force, clearly holding the #2 position in Ireland.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, that meal kit customer growth Ireland chart we looked at, it truly tells a compelling story of persistent demand, doesn't it?
It really does. It reveals a consistent, pretty strong upward trajectory in the number of customers, right from 2000 W straight through to 20X4. By the end of 20X4, the market in Ireland had swelled to nearly 2.5 million active customers.
2.5 million.
Yeah. This sustained and substantial growth, it profoundly underscores the increasing adoption and the undeniable demand within the island market. It illustrates a clear shift in how consumers are approaching meal preparation.
One of the most fascinating aspects for me is how brilliantly the industry seems to have adapted to the evolving needs of its customers. Ayeland customers, like consumers pretty much globally now, are increasingly looking for meal options that don't just taste good, but also suit highly specific dietary requirements. It's really no longer a one-size-fits-all world where a single menu caters to everyone, is it?
Not at all. That's a critical evolution in consumer expectation.
Yeah.
And this shift has prompted meal kit businesses, including MC, to offer a truly expansive range of menu choices. They need to align with a whole myriad of individual dietary needs, preferences, and tastes.
So what kind of options are we talking about?
Well, everything really, from diverse plant-based choices like standard vegetarian options, which of course means no meat or fish, and then going a step further to fully vegan options, which meticulously exclude all meat, fish, and dairy products. Then for those with specific health needs or dietary restrictions, you'll often find gluten-free diets available meticulously excluding foods containing gluten, like wheat and rye. You'll also find carefully curated low-fat or low-carbohydrate diets. The crucial point here is just the unprecedented level of customization customers now expect and frankly receive, allowing them to truly align their meal kits with their personal health goals and maybe even their ethical choices.
And the beauty of the subscription journey itself, the actual process of signing up and managing it, seems meticulously designed for maximum flexibility. I think that's probably a huge selling point in today's consumer landscape.
Absolutely. You, as the customer, get a remarkable degree of control over the size of your order, the type of meals you receive, and even the frequency of your box deliveries.
And here's the kicker, the one that I think truly builds consumer confidence. You can cancel at any time, right?
Generally, yes. There are usually no long-term contracts holding you hostage, no punitive fees for stopping. It's that flexibility that truly empowers the customer and makes it less risky to try.
That emphasis on flexibility must be absolutely foundational to customer satisfaction and probably retention in such a competitive market.
It really is. The process typically unfolds in three pretty straightforward stages. Stage one is just all about setting up your account, usually through their, user-friendly website or mobile app.
Standard stuff.
Standard stuff. Entering your essential personal details, your delivery address, your preferred payment information. It's the standard online setup, but it's obviously the crucial foundational spout for accessing the entire service.
Then comes stage two, and this is where you really get to customize your subscription, make it truly yours.
All right, the fun part.
This is where you select your meal kit portion size. Usually you can choose from maybe 1, 2, or 4 portions per meal, depending on whether you're cooking for yourself, a couple, or a whole family.
Makes sense.
You also choose your meal kit preference, whether you want, say, meat-based meals, vegetarian, non-dairy, or even those gluten-free options we talked about. You decide on the number of recipes you want per delivery. Normally, it's something like 2, 3, or 4 recipes per box. And finally, you pick your delivery frequency. Do you want your delicious boxes delivered weekly, bi-weekly, or maybe just monthly? It's all about tailoring it to your life and your cooking habits.
And stage three provides that vital layer of control, the confirmation or cancellation step. You typically have a crucial window, usually at least 48 hours before your required delivery date,
Yeah.
to either confirm your meal kit delivery selection, the choices you made in stage two, and finalize your delivery date. Or, if plans change suddenly, you have the easy option to cancel or maybe just suspend that specific delivery for the week.
That's handy.
It is. This generous lead time allows for those last-minute adjustments, giving customers peace of mind and genuine control over their commitments, which is a critical factor in a world of constantly shifting schedules.
So we've talked about the widespread popularity, the customization, the flexibility, but let's take an even deeper dive into the key growth drivers. What has genuinely propelled the meal kit market into the booming sector it is today?
Okay, good question. First up, and probably the most obvious one, is that irresistible combination of convenience and time saving.
Can't beat it.
Right. By meticulously delivering those pre-portioned ingredients and the easy-to-follow step-by-step recipes, meal kits completely eliminate two of the biggest hurdles in home cooking. Firstly, the laborious need for customers to actually plan their meals for the week, and secondly, that often dreaded, time-consuming task of grocery shopping for all the individual ingredients.
This is particularly transformative, I imagine, for time-constrained individuals. Think busy business professionals working long hours, or families juggling school runs, extracurriculars, demanding careers.
Exactly. Their lives are packed, right? So any solution that dramatically streamlines the daily grind of meal preparation isn't just appealing, it's almost essential for them. What's fascinating here, I think, is how meal kits essentially offer a truly valuable commodity in modern life. They give back precious time to consumers. They transform what was once maybe seen as a chore into an accessible, sometimes even enjoyable activity.
Quality is another absolutely huge driver, isn't it? And it feels like it's a non-negotiable for most meal kit customers these days.
Totally. They have high expectations. They want their meals to be made from genuinely fresh, high-quality ingredients. And meal kit businesses are keenly aware of this demand.
So how do they meet it?
Well, they generally meet it head-on by forging strong, often long-term partnerships with local farmers and trusted suppliers. This isn't just, a marketing ploy or a nice-to-have. It's really a core operational strategy. It ensures the freshest, most vibrant produce and ingredients are consistently included in those meal kits, which directly translates to a superior culinary experience for the end user.
Absolutely. And closely related to quality is that crucial element of menu variety and customization we touched on earlier.
Yes, very important. Meal kit businesses understand that culinary fatigue, getting bored with the same old meals, is a real risk to customer retention.
Definitely.
So to counter this, they absolutely must offer a truly diverse and constantly evolving menu selection. This is crucial for both attracting new customers and, perhaps even more importantly, retaining the existing ones. People aren't just looking for a few staple recipes. They're creating a range of options, often from a multitude of worldwide cuisines, and crucially, recipes that precisely match their specific dietary preferences and requirements.
Like the gluten-free or plant-based options.
Exactly. This breadth of choice helps to keep the experience fresh and prevents that dreaded menu fatigue, ensuring, hopefully, long-term engagement.
And then there's the delicate balance of cost effectiveness. This feels like a critical tightrope walk for meal kit businesses.
It absolutely is. It's essential for them to strike the correct balance between offering genuine value for money and maintaining a reasonable, accessible price point for their meal kits. Customers are just much more likely to remain loyal if they consistently perceive meal kits to be cost-effective, especially when you compare it to the accumulated expense of dining out frequently, or the often surprising cost and time involved in shopping for individual ingredients across multiple grocery stores just for one or two meals. It's really about demonstrating clear value.
Now, if we connect this back to the bigger picture, you mentioned earlier that despite its explosive growth, the meal kit industry still accounts for a very small proportion less than 1.5% of the overall global food sales market. That's tiny.
It is surprisingly small when you think about it.
So what does this really mean for future growth? Does it signal stagnation or...
No, I don't think it signals stagnation at all. Actually, quite the opposite. It signifies a substantial, largely untapped opportunity. Meal kit businesses definitely recognize this immense potential. They understand there's still significant room to develop and expand the market far beyond its current reach, essentially converting more traditional grocery shoppers into meal kit enthusiasts. This is very much a long game, with potentially vast horizons still ahead.
Okay, so we've seen the impressive growth and the clever design of these services, but this booming industry isn't without its, let's say, growing pains. It can't all be smooth sailing.
Definitely not.
So as we turn the page, let's maybe explore some of the significant hurdles meal kit companies are grappling with, and crucially, the cutting-edge innovations they're deploying to try and stay ahead. Intense competition, for instance, must be a massive hurdle.
Indeed. We're talking about pressure coming from several relentless angles here.
Yeah.
First, as we've mentioned, you have the direct competitors, like freshy, large, internationally renowned, deep corporate backing, vast marketing budgets.
Yeah.
Tough to beat. Then there are the other island-based meal kit companies, like Food Dropper and iMeals, who are constantly innovating and offering new incentives themselves. But the competitive landscape isn't just about those direct rivals. There are also powerful indirect competitors that pose a significant and, I think, evolving challenge.
And this is where it gets really interesting for consumer behavior, isn't it? Like the heat and eat market you mentioned. That's incredibly popular with customers in Ayeland, apparently.
Very popular. And these aren't meal kits in the same way. They're fully prepared meals that just need a quick, zap in an oven or microwave. They require absolutely no ingredient preparation whatsoever. So they offer an even higher level of convenience for those truly time-strapped moments.
Even less effort required.
Exactly. And to add another formidable layer to the competition, traditional supermarkets have wisely recognized the threat posed by online meal kit businesses. Many have recently started offering their own lines of meal kit options, both selling them in-store and through their existing online platforms. They're leveraging their huge distribution networks and brand recognition to capture a piece of this growing pie. It's becoming a full-spectrum assault, really.
Wow. And what's truly fascinating, maybe slightly alarming for the industry, is this persistent customer retention crisis we've alluded to.
Yes, the churn problem.
Exactly. While customer attraction and acquisition have been maybe relatively straightforward for many meal kit businesses, often fueled by extensive marketing campaigns, social media buzz, those tempting introductory offers retaining those customers for the long term has proved incredibly difficult.
It really has. Many customers, for instance, frequently churn, as the industry calls it. They switch from one provider to another simply to get those new customer discounts and enticing offers from competitors.
Chasing the deals.
Chasing the deals. Others simply find a subscription service, maybe after the initial novelty wears off, to be just too expensive long-term, or perhaps too restrictive for their constantly evolving lifestyle and culinary whims. They want more freedom.
This leads to an alarmingly high churn rate across the entire meal kit industry, doesn't it? The numbers are quite stark.
They are. They illuminate the severity of this problem. Less than 25% of subscriptions actually last more than 6 months.
Only a quarter stick around past 6 months?
That's right. To put that in perspective, it means over 75% of customers acquired will have canceled their subscription within just half a year. That's a brutal reality for a business model that relies so heavily on recurring revenue. And it represents a significant ongoing challenge when you consider the substantial cost involved in acquiring each new customer in the first place. It's like a constant treadmill they're on.
And then beyond the customer-facing issues, there are these profound logistical complexities that meal kit businesses must somehow master.
Oh, absolutely. The back-end operations are incredibly complex.
Right. To offer that wide variety of appealing meal kits and delivery options, alongside the promise of the freshest range of ingredients, many meal kit businesses have to meticulously partner with literally hundreds of different ingredient suppliers.
Hundreds. Wow.
Yeah, sometimes hundreds. And this isn't a simple task. It necessitates significant investment in sophisticated supplier management information systems. These are essentially advanced digital platforms that allow them to track every single ingredient, predict demand with incredible precision, automate orders, and monitor supplier performance in real time.
So a lot of tech involved.
A lot of tech. This robust digital backbone, coupled with continuous proactive supplier relationship management, ensures they can procure the freshest ingredients precisely when demanded, minimizing waste and avoiding critical stockouts.
Similarly, the coordination of customer deliveries must be an incredibly intricate ballet.
I can only imagine.
It demands not only significant investment in cutting-edge logistics software to optimize routes and delivery windows, but also the cultivation of strong, reliable relationships with third-party logistics suppliers, the delivery companies.
Mm.
Getting those perishable goods to potentially thousands of homes on time, in perfect condition, across potentially vast geographical areas. It's a monumental feat of operational excellence. It's a system where even a seemingly minor hiccup can lead to spoiled food and, understandably, disgruntled customers.
This raises an incredibly important question. How do they meticulously ensure food safety amidst all this complexity and the rapid movement of perishable goods?
That's paramount, isn't it? Meal kits inherently include a wide variety of delicate perishable foods like meat, fish, eggs, dairy products. Without suitable packaging, precise temperature-controlled storage, and consistent refrigeration throughout the entire supply chain from supplier to factory to van to doorstep, these ingredients are highly susceptible to potential cross-contamination and rapid bacterial growth.
Which could lead to illness.
Exactly. Which, if not controlled, could lead to serious foodborne illnesses. We've even seen, unfortunately, alarming instances where meal kits have been linked to outbreaks of illnesses and food poisoning in other countries, highlighting just how severe this risk is.
So what's being done about it?
Well, as a direct result, food standards regulators, like the Ayeland Food Standards Agency, or AFSA, are becoming increasingly focused on meal kit providers. They're meticulously setting out best practice documentation and significantly increasing regulatory standards directly related to how these businesses store, package, and deliver their raw ingredients and the final meal kit boxes. Compliance isn't just, good practice anymore. It's an absolute legal imperative.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly and look at the cutting-edge innovations that are actively helping the industry navigate these significant challenges. Robotics, for instance, you mentioned briefly. That's making a truly profound impact, isn't it?
It really is. The broader food production industry, and that definitely includes the meal kit sector, is increasingly turning to advanced robotics for tasks right across the entire value chain.
Like what specifically?
Well, things like precision food processing, efficient manufacturing on the assembly lines, and the incredibly rapid and accurate packaging of final products. It's all about enhancing efficiency, consistency, and precision, which ultimately leads to a more reliable and cost-effective product for the customer.
Data analytics is another huge transformative area of innovation, I gather.
Massive. Meal kit businesses are leveraging vast quantities of data to meticulously predict recipe demand and ensure precise supply availability. This, in turn, profoundly optimizes their entire operations and drastically minimizes that waste problem we talked about.
And they use customer feedback too, right?
Oh, absolutely. What's truly fascinating is how they harness the power of customer feedback. These businesses receive literally millions of comments, ratings, reviews every day through their websites and social media channels. Sophisticated analytical tools then process and evaluate this immense data flow, allowing them to rapidly identify their best performing, most loved recipes, and equally importantly, their worst performing ones. This provides incredibly actionable insights into what customers truly want and don't want.
And this isn't just data gathering for the sake of it, presumably. They act on it.
Exactly. This incredibly valuable information is shared directly and immediately with the recipe development teams. They use it to refine existing dishes or maybe create entirely new, customer-approved recipes based on that feedback.
Makes sense.
Simultaneously, the procurement teams use that intel to work even more closely and strategically with their suppliers, making sure they're sourcing the right ingredients in the right quantities based on predicted popularity. It's a dynamic, constant feedback loop that drives continuous improvement and responsiveness to consumer preferences.
This also leads us, I suppose, to novel delivery partnerships. Is that another strategic response to the fierce competition?
It seems to be, yes. Due to the intense rivalry in the meal kit market, some businesses are actively seeking new and unique delivery partnerships as a way to attract more customers and expand their reach.
Like what kind of partnerships?
Well, this includes innovative collaborations with large retailers like supermarkets, for instance. This allows meal kit providers to actually sell their boxed meals directly in store, moving beyond just the online subscription model and tapping into the impulse purchase market.
Ah, interesting. Grabbing them while they're already shopping.
Precisely. And here's where it gets really interesting and incredibly smart from a marketing perspective. Collaborations with high-profile celebrities and renowned celebrity chefs.
Ah, the influencer effect.
Exactly. They're co-developing new and exciting recipes, leveraging that celebrity's immense brand power and culinary influence to draw in a wider, often more aspirational audience and generate significant buzz. It's a clever way to stand out and create desirability in a very crowded market, potentially turning a functional product into more of a lifestyle statement.
Okay, to truly understand how these businesses are performing, and specifically how Menucraft measures its own success, it's probably essential to grasp the key performance indicators, or KPIs, they meticulously track.
Yes, understanding the metrics is key.
Let's briefly touch upon what each one signifies. Maybe start with revenue.
Sure, revenue is pretty straightforward. It's simply the total amount of money generated from the sale of meal kit boxes. It's the top-line measure of financial success, really.
Okay. And active customers. What defines active?
Good question. Active customers is a crucial metric. It refers to the number of uniquely identified customers who have received at least one meal kit box within a defined recent period, typically the last 3 months. This gives a real pulse on current engagement levels.
Got it. Then meals delivered.
Meals delivered just quantifies the sheer volume. It's the total number of individual serves or portions delivered within a given period, like a quarter or a year.
Okay.
It's really a measure of operational scale.
Okay. How about orders per customer?
Orders per customer is calculated by dividing the total number of orders placed in a given period by the number of active customers in that same period. This basically indicates average customer engagement. How frequently are they actually ordering?
Right. And average order value.
Average order value, or AOV, is the total revenue divided by the total number of orders in that same given period. This tells us, on average, how much customers are spending per transaction. Are they buying bigger boxes, more meals per box, that sort of thing?
Makes sense. Now, food waste, this sounds important for sustainability. How's it measured?
It is very important, especially for responsible businesses like MC seem to be. It's measured in tons, produced by the meal kit business's own production facility, so waste generated internally that is ultimately disposed of in landfills or incinerated. What's important to note here is that this measure explicitly does not include any unused or surplus food that has been responsibly donated to food charities or perhaps repurposed as animal feed. So it highlights a genuine commitment to minimizing actual environmental impact, not just shifting waste elsewhere.
That's a good distinction. And finally, carbon emissions.
Carbon emissions accounts for the CO2 tons produced by the meal kit business's entire operations. This includes production, non-production activities like office energy usage, and crucially all distribution-related emissions from delivery vehicles. It's essentially their total environmental footprint in terms of greenhouse gases.
And overseeing all of this, especially the absolutely critical aspect of food safety, is the vigilant industry watchdog. In Ayeland, you mentioned that's the Ayeland Food Standards Agency, or AFSA.
That's right, AFSA. They're the government agency squarely responsible for food safety and food hygiene across the nation. They work tirelessly with a wide range of food-related businesses throughout Ayeland, not just meal kits, but restaurants, manufacturers, retailers, to ensure that all food safety regulations and standards are not just understood, but rigorously met. Their role is absolutely paramount for safeguarding public health and maintaining the integrity and trustworthiness of the entire food industry. It's a responsibility they take incredibly seriously, as you'd expect.
Okay, now that we've got that comprehensive industry overview, the market, the challenges, the innovations, the metrics, let's take an even closer, more granular look at Menucraft itself. This is where we really deep dive into their specific business model, their strategic choices, and what seems like their operational excellence.
Right, let's zero in on MC.
So MC was founded 15 years ago in Ayeland's vibrant capital city by two incredibly experienced local chefs. That's an interesting start.
It is. And their confidence in embarking on this venture wasn't just, blind ambition. It apparently stemmed from a keen observation of the already successful meal kit business models flourishing in other countries, like Freshii perhaps.
Hmm.
But what truly set them apart from the outset, it seems, and what became their enduring strategic edge, was their deep, intimate local knowledge of Ayeland's unique food industry and, critically, the abundance of high-quality local produce available right there on their doorstep.
So that local focus became Menu Craft's signature differentiation, a core part of its brand identity.
Exactly. MC meticulously established itself as a truly high-quality meal kit business, specifically distinguishing itself by focusing intensely on island-based recipes that utilize wherever and whenever possible locally sourced ingredients.
And that appeals to local pride.
It seems so. It appeals directly to a powerful underlying consumer sentiment. The national pride and local traditions, local flavors, and the strong loyalty and support that the island population naturally feels for their local producers and their high-quality products. It's a really smart alignment with cultural values.
When it comes to recipe innovation and maintaining that crucial customer appeal, MC truly invests in top-tier talent, apparently. They employ highly qualified chefs.
That's right, not just cooks, but highly qualified chefs to meticulously design their recipes. And these culinary experts prioritize using seasonally available ingredients whenever possible, which ensures freshness and leverages peak flavors. What's truly fascinating is their scale and responsiveness. Each week, MC offers his customers a remarkable choice of up to 30 diverse recipes.
30 recipes a week. That's a lot of choice.
It is. And this wide selection isn't just about variety for variety's sake. It's strategically guided by a careful, data-driven analysis of both ingredient availability from their extensive supplier network and, crucially, those granular customer menu preferences gleaned from their feedback loops we talked about. It really seems like a blend of culinary art and scientific precision.
Looking at their growth trajectory, then, Minicraft's journey began with a more limited range, you said, confined primarily to Ayeland's capital city for its first 2 years.
That's right, a focused start. But from that focused start, it grew steadily over the next 5 years, and its expansion was largely fueled by strategic investments from Ayeland venture capitalists who clearly recognized its potential early on.
And then it took off more recently.
Exactly. As the popularity of meal kits has genuinely taken off globally over the last decade, MC has also experienced significant and sustained growth in customer numbers within Ayeland, mirroring that international trend. This impressive domestic growth has been driven hand in hand by the country's expanding urban population, meaning more potential customers with time constraints, and also the increased usage of internet technologies for attracting and communicating with a wide range of customers, making their service much more accessible.
And what's particularly noteworthy, you mentioned earlier, and a real testament to their strategy perhaps, is that MC boasts one of the highest customer retention rates in the industry.
Yes, which is a rare and highly coveted achievement given those high churn rates we discussed plaguing the sector. It suggests they're doing something right in keeping customers happy long term.
That retention strength is indeed a defining characteristic and something competitors must envy. Now, if we look at their customer analysis from 20X to 20X4, the data tells a really clear story about their evolving customer base and who their service is resonating with most, doesn't it?
It does. The proportion of families as a customer segment has been steadily increasing. It moved from 50% of their base in 20X and to a dominant 50% by 20X4.
So families are key for them now.
Very much so. It suggests MC's value proposition of convenient, healthy meals is increasingly vital for busy households. Couples have remained a significant segment, fluctuating slightly but consistently staying strong around that 22–27% mark.
Okay.
However, what's quite notable is that single people have experienced a tangible decline as a proportion of their customer base. They dropped from 25% in 20X into just 15% by 20X4.
That's quite a drop. Any ideas why?
Well, it could imply shifts in their marketing focus. Maybe they're targeting families more directly now. Or it could just be a natural gravitation of the service towards solving problems for larger households with more complex mealtime logistics.
Interesting. And if you look at the MenuCraft active customer numbers chart itself, it profoundly reinforces that strong growth trend and MC's ability to attract and retain users over time.
Absolutely. Their active customer base has substantially increased, growing from just under 100,000 active customers back in 2000 WN to a remarkable over 500,000 by 20X4. That demonstrates robust, sustained expansion over the past decade, showcasing their success in capitalizing on the growing demand within the island market even amidst all that competition.
On the corporate side of things, MC made a significant and strategic move 3 years ago when it successfully listed on the Island stock market,
Right, they went public.
which is a big step. This transition from a private venture to a publicly traded company really speaks to its maturity and scale, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And what's particularly interesting and perhaps reassuring to long-term stakeholders is that the two original founders still hold incredibly key positions on the board. One serves as the chief executive officer, steering the overall direction, and the other is the chief commercial and marketing officer, driving market strategy.
So they're still deeply involved.
Very much so. And importantly, each of them still retains a significant 10% share of MC shares, demonstrating their continued commitment and, frankly, vested interest in the company's ongoing success.
And the other 80%.
The remaining 80% of shares are owned by a wide and diverse range of investors, indicating a broad public ownership base now.
And their board structure, does it look robust?
It seems quite comprehensive and indicative of strong corporate governance. It features a non-executive chair providing independent oversight, the chief executive officer, a senior independent non-executive director, and 4 other non-executive directors who bring external perspectives and expertise. Alongside these, the key executive officers include the chief finance officer, chief operating officer, the chief commercial and marketing officer we mentioned, and also a chief people officer. It forms a pretty robust leadership team overseeing all aspects of the business.
And as a further sign of that robust corporate governance, they've established 3 crucial board committees, right?
Yes, that's standard practice for good governance. There's an audit and risk committee, which oversees financial reporting and risk management, very important. There's a nominations committee, responsible for board appointments and succession planning, and a remunerations committee, which handles executive compensation. These committees are absolutely vital for providing specialized oversight and strategic direction, ensuring accountability and adherence to best practices.
Okay, now let's truly unpack Menucraft's operations. This is the engine room, starting with the absolutely critical function of ingredient sourcing and supplier relations.
Right, where the food actually comes from. MC utilizes an extensive network, apparently over 600 individual suppliers, with the vast majority of them located right there in Ayeland.
600 suppliers, that's a lot to manage.
It is, and this deep local integration isn't just logistical. It's clearly a strategic decision that resonates deeply with their customer base. What's fascinating is that a significant majority of MC's customers consistently choose those traditional island-based recipes we talked about.
That local preference again.
Exactly. This preference seems deeply rooted in the nation's profound pride in its local culinary traditions and recipes, and the population's strong loyalty and unwavering support for local producers and their high-quality products. It's a powerful cultural alignment that MC cleverly leverages.
And quality and sustainability aren't just buzzwords for MC, you suggested. There are paramount criteria when selecting these hundreds of suppliers.
It appears so. Each potential supplier apparently undergoes a detailed and rigorous assessment before their ingredients ever make it into an MC meal kit. MC specifically prefers to work with best-in-class suppliers who hold relevant certifications for safety and quality, ensuring every ingredient meets their stringent standards.
And they push sustainability, too.
Yes, they don't just stop at compliance. MC actively encourages and supports its suppliers in adopting biodiversity and sustainability activities within their own operations. Notably, many of the farmers who supply to MC already use organic farming methods, meaning they meticulously avoid any synthetic pesticides or fertilizers, which further enhances the quality and environmental credentials of the ingredients.
To maximize efficiency and critically minimize waste, MC employs sophisticated demand prediction algorithms you mentioned. How effective are they?
Well, these aren't just simple spreadsheets. They're advanced systems that meticulously predict customer recipe orders, and therefore their precise ingredient demand for each week with incredible accuracy. This means they can order exactly the right amount of ingredients from their 600-plus suppliers, dramatically reducing overordering and waste at the source.
And the results?
The results of this precision are genuinely impressive, according to the source material. Less than 1% by weight of all purchased ingredients do not make it to customers in the meal kit production process. That's an astonishingly low waste rate for a food business.
Wow, under 1%, that is low.
It is. And their waste management strategy seems truly exemplary, too, adhering to a clear hierarchy. The majority of edible, unused ingredients are responsibly donated to local charitable organizations, ensuring good food doesn't go to waste when it can feed people. Unused ingredients not fit for human consumption are then repurposed for animal feed, completing another cycle. Only truly inedible waste is sent to landfill or incineration, ensuring minimal environmental impact.
Okay, when it comes to ingredient storage, it's described as a finely tuned, two-tiered logistical system.
That's right. Long-life ingredients, think dried herbs and spices, rice, pasta, tin items, are purchased efficiently in bulk and stored in a vast warehouse situated right next to MC's central production factory. This allows for easy access and inventory management for the non-perishables.
And the fresh stuff.
For the incredibly time-sensitive fresh and chilled products, vibrant fruits, crisp vegetables, fresh meat, dairy product, the logistics are much tighter. It's a masterclass in just-in-time delivery. These delicate ingredients are delivered within a narrow window, usually 24-48 hours, of when they're actually needed for specific customer orders. They go directly to a temperature-controlled fresh food storage area at the factory, where they are held for only a very short time before being swiftly moved to the production line, ensuring peak freshness.
What's particularly efficient, apparently, and maybe a major differentiator in their operational flow, is that suppliers deliver all the chilled and fresh food products pre-portioned.
Yes, that's a key detail. This means they arrive at the factory already meticulously divided into 1, 2, or 4 meal portions, exactly as the recipes demand. This eliminates a significant amount of preparation time and labor for MC internally, really speeding up their assembly process.
Smart. And they push suppliers on packaging, too.
Yes, demonstrating their commitment to sustainability again.
Yeah.
MC works incredibly closely with most of its suppliers to minimize any packaging used in these deliveries, and they insist that wherever possible, suppliers utilize recyclable or biodegradable packaging when they deliver ingredients to MC. It's a proactive, environmentally conscious approach right through the supply chain.
Packaging itself is an absolutely critical element of the meal kit box experience, isn't it? It impacts both freshness and the environmental footprint. How does MC handle its own box packaging?
Well, they seem quite strategic about it. They demonstrate their commitment to local sourcing, even for non-food items, by purchasing all their meal kit box packaging components from a single trusted supplier based right in Ayeland.
Yeah.
And conveniently, that supplier is located just 20 kilometers from MC's central production factory.
Oh, that's close. Good for logistics.
Exactly. That short supply chain for packaging minimizes transport emissions and obviously supports local businesses. And this local partnership seems mutually beneficial for logistics, quality control, and sustainability. The supplier provides 2 key packaging components, meticulously designed for the meal kit purpose.
Which are?
First, there's the chill box. This is ingeniously made of 100% recyclable cardboard and specifically engineered to safely maintain the temperature of chilled ingredients throughout delivery. And inside this chill box is a freezable, reusable ice pack, a thoughtful touch that customers can keep and reuse at home, adding to the product's overall sustainability appeal and reducing single-use waste.
Okay, that's clever. And the outer box?
Then you have the outer box, the main exterior packaging. It's crafted from strong, durable, and also 100% recyclable cardboard. These boxes come in a variety of sizes, precisely designed to accommodate different portion sizes and the varying number of recipes ordered by the customer.
And how are they stored? They're supplied to MC flat packed, which is incredibly smart for optimizing storage space at the factory. They're only formed into their box shape when they are selected for use at the very start of the highly automated production process. Apparently, MC's close collaborative partnership with this packaging supplier allows them to continuously design and develop the latest and most environmentally friendly packaging solutions, constantly pushing the envelope on sustainable practices.
The meal kit box production itself at MC sounds like a marvel of efficiency and precision.
It really does. All production takes place at one impressively large, centralized factory located in central Ayeland. This facility is described as a hive of activity, highly optimized with 4 separate production lines operating a staggering 16 hours per day, 7 days a week. It's a truly continuous operation designed for high volume.
And it starts with robots.
It does. The process begins with advanced automation. At the very start of a production line, the intricate production information system generates a unique barcode label for each individual meal kit box. A robot then reads this barcode, identifies and selects the correct sized outer box from the flat pack stacks, and efficiently forms it into its 3-dimensional box shape. A second robot then precisely places an empty chill box inside that outer box.
But humans are involved, too.
Oh yes, crucial human oversight. From there, the box moves through several meticulously choreographed stages of the production line where the different pre-portioned ingredients are added. At each stage, a human operative, guided by the barcode, scans it, selects the correct recipe items, and places them into the meal kit box in the correct order, ensuring accuracy and quality.
And a final check.
Absolutely. The final stage is a crucial quality check, also carried out by a human operative, to ensure all the correct ingredients have been properly packed and nothing is missing. The inner chill box lid is then closed, and the outer box is swiftly sealed, all by a human operative. The efficiency is truly remarkable. The total time taken from the very start of meal kit production to its dispatch to the customer is normally no longer than an astonishing 3 hours.
3 hours from start to dispatch. That's incredibly fast.
It is, which means unparalleled freshness upon arrival for the customer.
This incredible speed from production to dispatch must be fundamentally facilitated by a robust and highly efficient distribution network.
Absolutely. The final delivery of the completed meal kit boxes to customers is expertly handled by GoFlow, described as a trusted third-party logistics supplier also based conveniently in Ayeland.
And their vehicles are up to scratch.
Apparently so. GoFlow's entire fleet of vehicles is equipped with the latest refrigeration technology, which is absolutely essential for maintaining the integrity and freshness of the perishable ingredients throughout transit, even on the hottest days. MC works in close, ongoing partnership with GoFlow, collaboratively focusing on optimizing route planning using advanced algorithms.
Why? Just for speed?
Not just for speed. It's to ensure on-schedule deliveries, yes, but also to strategically minimize CO2 emissions in the distribution process. This dual focus on efficiency and environmental responsibility seems critical for maximizing both freshness and sustainability.
Okay. Now, even with all this operational efficiency, careful planning, and technological prowess, every business operates within a landscape of inherent risks. MC's latest risk report highlights several key areas that demand constant vigilance and strategic mitigation, right?
Yes, no business is risk-free. First, there's the pervasive competition risk we've discussed. MC operates in a fiercely competitive environment where customers have an overwhelming array of choices for what, how, and where they eat.
Direct and indirect.
Exactly. This includes direct rivals, like the global giant Freshé, but also that broader ecosystem of indirect competitors, traditional grocery stores, both physical and online, a vast restaurant sector, and myriad other food delivery businesses, like those heat and eat options. The fight for the consumer's plate is incredibly intense.
Then there's the significant legal and regulatory risk, which sounds particularly acute because MC sells fresh food products online directly to consumers.
It is. This places them squarely under numerous stringent laws and regulations concerning compliance and hygiene, meticulous food safety standards, general health and safety protocols for their workforce, and crucial data protection laws given the personal information they handle.
And this is an especially sensitive area, isn't it? We know meal kits have unfortunately been linked to instances of food poisoning, illness, and even product recalls in other parts of the world.
Precisely. Consequently, MC is subject to rigorous external checks by the Ayeland Food Standards Agency, AFSA, every 6 months. And their very license to operate literally depends on maintaining this critical certification. It's a very high-stakes compliance environment.
Customer attraction and retention risk remains a monumental hurdle for the entire industry, and MC is no exception, it seems, despite its relative strengths in retention.
That's right. While their continued growth relies heavily on attracting new customers, the sheer intensity of competition and the overwhelming array of alternative food choices available make this an increasingly challenging and costly endeavor. The market is maturing, and the sort of low-hanging fruit has largely been picked.
And as we discussed, customer retention itself remains an industry-wide, almost existential problem. Customers often lose interest after the initial novelty or subscription discounts wear off, or they're simply easily enticed to competitors through new promotional offers and attractive incentives.
It's that constant battle for long-term loyalty. It poses a significant and ongoing risk to sustained growth and, ultimately, to MC's long-term profitability model. It really is a treadmill they're constantly running on to replace churning customers.
Finally, there's the ever-present data and information risk. MC holds a vast amount of highly sensitive personal data about all its subscription customers and its extensive network of suppliers.
Which makes them a target.
Exactly. This data is inherently vulnerable to security incidents and malicious breaches, a constant threat in the digital age. And as the techniques used by malicious actors to obtain unauthorized access or sabotage systems are constantly evolving and becoming more sophisticated, MC, like any data-rich business, acknowledges they may be unable to anticipate or prevent all such attacks. This
requires continuous investment in cybersecurity and proactive risk management to protect their most valuable digital assets and, crucially, maintain customer trust.
Amidst all these challenges and the dynamic market pressures, Menucraft isn't just reacting, though. It sounds like it has a clear North Star guiding its decisions, meticulously articulated through its mission, vision, and core values.
Yes, let's look at those. Their mission statement is refreshingly straightforward and incredibly focused to make healthy home cooking simple, affordable, and accessible to everyone, whatever their level of cooking skills.
Simple, affordable, accessible. That's pretty clear.
It really emphasizes stripping away complexity, ensuring affordability, and opening up home cooking to a broad demographic, removing those intimidating barriers to entry.
What's fascinating here is how their vision statement strategically expands on that, looking beyond just the immediate transaction to a broader societal and environmental impact. Their vision is to promote healthy and sustainable food choices so that our customers and the communities we serve can live a healthier life in a healthier world.
So connecting business to health and planet.
Exactly. It connects their core business directly to improving public health and fostering environmental stewardship, aiming for a healthier population and a healthier planet. It's an aspirational, yet seemingly actionable, long-term goal.
And their core values really break down MC's fundamental commitments and ethical compass. What are they?
Well, first, they state they are dedicated to promoting healthy and convenient food choices, which is, the very essence of their business. Second, they pledge to support Ayeland's food producers, actively assisting them in growing and making the highest quality ingredients for their recipes, reinforcing that invaluable local connection and loyalty we discussed earlier.
Good. What else?
Furthermore, they are deeply committed to making positive environmental decisions throughout their entire value chain, from sourcing to packaging and delivery. This goes hand in hand with their commitment to promoting sustainability for the long-term benefit of all stakeholders, and they explicitly mention their robust ESG focus on planet, people, and governance, a holistic approach to corporate responsibility.
That's comprehensive.
It is. They also commit to demonstrating responsible leadership in all aspects of their business activities, setting a high standard for ethical conduct. And finally, ensuring every MC member upholds the highest ethical standards, grounded in honesty, respect, and accountability. This comprehensive set of values genuinely paints a picture of a company striving for holistic responsibility and long-term societal contribution, not just focusing purely on profit.
Okay, now let's let the numbers truly tell a story. Let's dive into Menucraft's key performance information from 2000X right through to 20X4. These aren't just dry figures. They should paint a vivid picture of Menucraft's journey, its successes, and perhaps some emerging challenges.
Right, the data deep dive.
First, looking at total meals delivered. We see significant and consistent growth here, don't we? Moving from approximately 15 million meals delivered back in 2000X to nearly 38 million by 20X4. That's a truly substantial increase in volume, showcasing their ability to scale operations rapidly to meet demand.
It really is. And if we look at the year-on-year growth rate for total meals delivered, it reveals a really compelling pattern that speaks to the market's evolution. The highest growth was a remarkable 42% back in 20X1.
Wow, 42%.
Yeah, that screams early market adoption, doesn't it? Almost a gold rush phase where demand was just surging. However, watch that growth rate subsequently decelerate quite sharply. It drops to 28% in 20X2, then down to 15% in 20X3, and then leveling slightly at 16% in 20X4.
So still growing, but much slower.
Exactly.
Yeah.
While still positive growth, and let's be clear, 16% growth in any mature business is generally considered excellent. This significant deceleration signals that MC is moving beyond that explosive early adopter phase. They're now clearly battling for market share in a more saturated, fiercely competitive environment. The low-hanging fruit has been picked. Future growth will undoubtedly demand more sophisticated targeted strategies.
Moving on to revenue, the financial heartbeat of the company. This seems to mirror the trajectory of meals delivered, which makes sense. We see a strong and consistent increase in absolute revenue, climbing from around $70 million in 20X to over $230 million in 20X4. That's undeniably impressive financial growth for a 5-year period, clearly showing the company's expanding economic footprint.
It is impressive, but the revenue growth percentages also tell a very similar decelerating story. The highest growth, again, was that initial burst of 45% in 20X1.
Even higher than meal growth that year.
Slightly, yeah. Followed by a decline to 32% in 20X2, then 31% in 20X3, and settling at 18% in 20X4. Again, these are still very strong growth figures year over year, but the rate of acceleration is clearly slowing down. This could imply a maturing market where new revenue is just harder to capture, or it could reflect heightened competitive pressure requiring more aggressive marketing spend to capture additional revenue, which might in turn impact margins. The overall trend definitely suggests a shift from rapid expansion to a more measured, competitive growth phase.
Now, when we look at revenue per meal, the trend is generally stable to only slightly increasing, which is interesting. It moved from approximately $5.80 in 20XL to around $6.40 in 20X4.
Not a huge jump over 5 years.
No. The growth rate for revenue per meal shows modest fluctuations, hovering consistently around 2–3% year on year. What does that stability suggest to you?
Well, it suggests that Menucraft has maintained a relatively consistent pricing strategy or average meal value. They haven't implemented significant price hikes, nor have they drastically dropped prices perhaps to gain market share. It hints at maybe a strong, stable value proposition perceived by the customer, or perhaps a cautious approach to pricing in what is a very competitive market.
Next, active customers. This is perhaps one of the most crucial metrics, as it directly reflects the size of their engaged customer base. Here, we indeed see a substantial increase in active customers overall, growing from roughly 170,000 in 2000X to approximately 550,000 by 20X4.
A big jump in users.
Yeah, indicating a robust and successful customer acquisition strategy over this period, expanding their reach considerably.
However, the year-on-year active customer growth rate also reveals a similar pattern of slowing momentum, doesn't it?
It does. We saw that strong initial surge, reaching 37% in 20X1, but then that rate began to slow down significantly to 24% in 20X2, staying at 24% in 20X3, and then decelerating further to 14% in 20X3 and only 13% in 20X4.
So, still adding customers but finding new ones is getting harder.
Seems like it. While they are still successfully adding customers, getting towards 500,000 new active customers over that period is no small feat. The rate at which they are attracting new active users is clearly declining. This points to the increasing difficulty of customer acquisition in a competitive, perhaps more saturated market. It suggests that while they are growing, the cost and effort to acquire each new customer might well be increasing.
Okay, how about average order value, AOV?
For average order value, the trend shows remarkable stability with only a slight upward movement, going from around $35 per order in 20Xs to about $38 in 20X4.
Very stable. Similar to revenue per meal, the growth rate for average order value is relatively consistent and small, typically around 2–3%.
So what does that stability tell us?
Well, it suggests that customers are either consistently ordering a similar mix of portion sizes and number of recipes, or perhaps that any subtle price increases are being absorbed without major shifts in their ordering behavior. It points to a fairly predictable revenue stream per order, but also perhaps limited opportunity or maybe limited success in upselling or encouraging significantly larger purchases per order.
Finally, let's really analyze annual orders placed per customer. This is where it gets particularly interesting and potentially a bit concerning, especially in the context of that industry-wide customer retention challenge we keep coming back to.
Right. How engaged are the customers they have?
Exactly. We observe a slight decline, or at best a plateau, in annual orders per customer. It moved from approximately 12.1 orders per customer per year in 2000X down slightly to around 11.8 in 20X4. This metric is a direct indicator of customer engagement and loyalty, showing how frequently their active customers are actually placing orders throughout the year.
So people are ordering slightly less often than they used to, on average.
It looks that way, or at least the average hasn't increased. This slight decline or flattening in orders per customer, combined with the year-on-year growth rate for this metric fluctuating but generally declining, ending at a modest 1.7% in both 20X3 and 20X4, could imply several critical things for Menucraft.
Such as?
Well, even though MC reportedly has one of the highest retention rates in the industry, which is fantastic for them, this trend might suggest that even their existing supposedly loyal customers are ordering slightly less frequently over time. Alternatively, it could mean that the newer customers they are acquiring are perhaps joining at a slightly lower engagement level than the older, more established customer cohorts were.
That makes sense. So if we connect this to the bigger picture of high industry churn, even minor shifts downwards in order frequency per customer can have significant implications for overall revenue growth and, maybe more critically, profitability, especially as the cost of acquiring those new customers remains high. It's a subtle but potentially potent signal that engagement needs constant nurturing, even among retained customers.
Okay, so to synthesize these overall insights from the KPIs, what's the big picture story?
We see a narrative of robust initial growth in total meals delivered and revenue directly tied to that significant and successful increase in active customers early on. This clearly shows that Menucraft has successfully scaled its operations and captured a substantial market share in Ireland.
Definitely a success story in that regard.
However, the flattening or slight decline in annual orders per customer, alongside the clearly decelerating growth rates across most metrics, revenue growth, customer growth, meal growth, could imply that while MC is still growing, that rapid expansion phase may be cooling off.
Entering a more mature phase.
Exactly. It suggests they are indeed feeling the pervasive industry-wide challenge of customer retention and potentially encountering some market saturation, even with their strong local brand and relatively high retention rates. It's a clear sign they're entering a new, more mature, and arguably more competitive phase of their business life cycle.
So what does this all mean for the future of meal kits and Menucraft specifically? We've journeyed through a truly dynamic industry, haven't we? From its undeniable convenience offerings and impressive global growth figures to the intense, multifaceted competition it faces and those significant logistical and customer retention challenges that seem inherent to the business model.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. Menucraft undeniably stands out with its strong local position, its deep commitment to quality, its progressive stance on sustainability, and its unwavering ethical practices. These seem to distinguish it in what is becoming an increasingly crowded and sometimes undifferentiated market. Yet, like all players, even the best in class it seems, it grapples with that industry-wide struggle for long-term customer retention.
Absolutely. The data tells a compelling story of remarkable growth, yes, but also of an evolving, increasingly challenging landscape where sustained customer engagement is truly the ultimate prize. It feels like the next chapter is all about loyalty.
It really does.
So thinking about that, given the clear, undeniable growth opportunity that still exists in the meal kit market, remember that tiny 1.5% of global food sales, but also the persistent and brutal challenge of customer churn. How do you think meal kit companies like Menucraft will evolve their value proposition in the coming years? What will it take for them to not just attract new customers, which is getting harder, but to truly retain them for the long haul, especially as more players continue to enter the market and consumer preferences continue to shift in unpredictable ways?
That is the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? How do you build genuine, lasting loyalty beyond just introductory discounts?
Exactly. It's a fascinating strategic challenge to ponder, and one that will undoubtedly shape the future of how we eat.